Hi guys, it's Brittany with Eating Elephants, and I am 10 weeks pregnant this week. My phrase for this week is "we saw our baby," and that was actually because I went into the ER, and I'll tell that story towards the end of this video. And speaking of, my videos for my pregnancy updates are not going to be short. They are going to be very long, just as they have been. That's not going to change, and I'm really sorry for those of you who have a hard time getting through a really long video, but I mean, these videos are just as much for me as they are for you guys. I want something to be able to look back on and to relive my pregnancies, and you never know how long you're going to be pregnant for, so I'll be glad that I have this documented at length. I know some people try to make their pregnancy updates, 3 minutes or less and stuff like that. But, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I'm really sorry about the long videos. I'm just long-winded. Anyway, now I'm getting long-winded about how I'm long-winded. So let's get into the update. My phrase is "we saw our baby." As I said, I'll tell the story about that towards the end. My symptoms for this week are, firstly, I've been sleeping really good. I wouldn't call it fatigue anymore because when I'm up and I'm okay. I can do stuff. But when it's time to go to sleep, I go to sleep. I sleep like a rock right now. And when I know it's the daylight savings, we went back an hour. But even before the time changed, I would feel like, oh my goodness, I'm sleeping until noon. I'm sleeping until 1. What time is it? I know it's noon already. And I'll wake up and it's 9. So, yeah, I sleep so hard that when I wake up, I think it's later than it is. I really do feel like I've slept the day away because I'm so rested and I slept so hard. So I don't know if that's a positive or negative, really. I don't know. I'm just sleeping way harder than I usually do. Next up is nausea and vomiting, burping, and hiccups. All throughout the day, I have little burps and hiccups that you can barely hear, but with it comes the threat of throwing up. And it's really hard because I'm not a public burper whatsoever, but I just cannot help it anymore. And I'm finally getting to that. I say finally like I was waiting on it or something. But I'm getting to the point where I can just be sitting there and I will throw up. Usually it's while I'm trying to eat or after I eat or while I'm brushing my teeth. Something triggers it. Nothing triggers it anymore. Actually, as of this morning, an hour or so before I started filming this video, I was just standing there, thank goodness, next to the trash can for some reason, and I just threw up. I just started throwing up. That's the first time that's happened to me, and I don't think that was a isolated one-time event either. I think that's gonna continue. Sorry, see, I cannot help it. I must burp. Next up is dark nipples and sharp pain in my nipples. All of these body changes that I talk about, I never noticed them myself. My husband notices it. He noticed the linea nigra. He noticed when my breasts started getting bigger, and now he's noticing my nipples changing. So he knows what I look like and knows when it changes. So yeah, so he noticed that. The sharp pains in my nipples have been happening for a few weeks now. But I've forgotten to add it to the video until now. But yeah, that's happening, and it's happening a lot. I've been having light cramping, which I'll talk about later. That's actually a part of why I went to the emergency room, but there were other things that were going on with the cramping that made me worry. And nesting. My last symptom is nesting. I am not a neat person whatsoever. Never have been. My parents were not neat people and still aren't. I am not a neat person and probably will never be. But one thing that I think is going to help me is I am going to start, I take care of the household. My husband works, and I also go to school. So as far as our household goes, we are about to start going a lot more minimalist, not just with the baby, but with our things as well. We're going to try to get rid of things. And it started with me cleaning the guinea pig cage. I have guinea pigs, by the way. I'll make another video of them here soon. It started with me cleaning the guinea pig cage, and then once I got the guinea pig cage together, I just had to clean the rest of the living room. I had to. And I decluttered. I threw out boxes and boxes of stuff, and I was so tired by the end of the day, and I was cramping by the end of all of that. I really overdid it, but and it actually kind of scared me, but I was on a roll. I was cleaning stuff. I was throwing away stuff that I thought I wanted, that I was previously attached to, just getting rid of things we don't need. And then the next day I did the same thing in our bedroom. And if you guys didn't know, we live in a very, very small 1-bedroom apartment, and there is a good chance that we're gonna have to make this apartment work for a while with the baby, which is fine with me, but we do need to declutter so that we have room for the baby stuff. Next up is supplements and such. I have not been taking my prenatal vitamins very consistently, and it's because I'm so sick. So what I think I'm going to do is get some gummy vitamins until morning sickness has gone away. You guys, I lost my fish oil supplements. I would be taking them. Those are easy to take. I would be taking them if I had them, but I cannot find them for the life of me. And actually, I think I might have tossed them by accident while I was decluttering, because when I tell you guys I was throwing out boxes and boxes worth of stuff, I was throwing out so much stuff to where I felt bad just sitting it by the dumpsters outside. I felt bad because it was so much stuff, and I was going to try to drive it over to the landfill and put it there, the dump, and set it there so the garbage people wouldn't have to deal with it. But I was like, no, I'm already worn out, I'm pregnant, I gotta take care of myself, I've been going up and down these stairs carrying heavy stuff, so I should just set it by the garbage. And I did, and they took it, but I really did feel bad about that. But I do think my fish oil supplements went out with all the rest of the stuff that I threw out. So I may have to get some more. I'll probably get a cheaper brand this time, because I really don't think it matters as long as it's real pure fish oil. And yeah, like I said, I'm gonna get some gummy prenatal vitamins to take until morning sickness is over. It's a bummer because I spent $60 on these wonderful whole food cultured prenatals, and I just can't take them right now. And early pregnancy is the most important time to take them, but I just can't. I just cannot. I get so sick, and I can even throw them up sometimes. As far as my diet goes, I will eat literally anything that I can swallow and keep down. I'm doing okay with water. I've been adding lemon juice, fresh squeezed lemon juice to my water. It's helping. It tastes good, and it just makes my tummy feel really good. And I've been adding sometimes a little sprinkle of Himalayan pink salt because I haven't been cooking a whole lot, and that's what I used to cook with, and it has really good minerals in it. So since I haven't been really cooking, I've been sprinkling a little bit of the Himalayan pink salt into my water. Starbursts. I'm not craving Starbursts, but Starbursts have been helping my stomach to settle whenever I have a tummy ache. I've been using peppermints, which are really good, but you can only eat so many peppermints in a lifetime, and I'm getting so tired of peppermints. So you know, I just channeled my inner, I don't know, smartness, and I was like, well, some fruity, kind of more tangy candy that's not too sweet might help. And Starburst came to mind, so I asked my husband to get me some Starburst, and he did. And yeah, that actually really helped to settle my stomach. I just kind of suck on them, or I just chew them up and swallow them too sometimes. But a lot of the time I'd suck on it and let it dissolve kind of, and let my mouth salivate and everything, and it really helped to settle my stomach. And I know for a fact that I'm not eating enough. I'm not eating enough throughout the day. I'm not getting enough calories, and I'm definitely not getting enough nutrients. But I don't know what to do besides get some gummy prenatal vitamins. I really don't know what to do. I can't eat much at all. I've lost 15 pounds. I'm 10 weeks pregnant, and I have lost 15 pounds since finding out that I'm pregnant. So I found out at 4 weeks, so in the last 6 weeks, I have lost 15 pounds. I think that's actually okay since I'm already overweight, and that might continue. I've seen some women who just lose weight throughout their entire pregnancy and aren't trying to. I'm definitely not trying to, but I also know that I'm definitely not eating enough, and it's because I just can't. And then what I do eat, sometimes I throw it up. So that sucks. What's next? Exercise. Have not been exercising. I have absolutely not been exercising. I have not even been trying. I mean, when I go to the store, I like to walk around the store for a long time, but I haven't been like actually going somewhere for the specific purpose of walking, which I usually do, but I just have not. I have not felt like it. I'm so sick all the time. I just don't feel like it. Buys for this week. We have not bought anything this week for the baby, and we probably won't for a really long time. But what we have been doing is going to Target and looking at things that we want to register for. And speaking of registering, I always ask you guys for some advice, either for book recommendations, which nobody has recommended any books yet. Get on that, guys. But either book recommendations or just whether or not I should work was one of the questions. But this week, my question is about the registry. As I've mentioned, my husband and I, well, my husband doesn't care, but I want to have a more minimalist household, and which means and especially for the baby, because they tell you need all these brightly colored, beautiful little things, but you don't. And I know you don't. This is my first child, but I know you don't. You really don't need all that stuff. So with that being said, what we do register for will be the bigger things, like the car seat, the swing or bouncer. We're getting one or the other, not a swing and a bouncer, one or the other. Not sure which yet. If you guys have a preference, which one that was really good for you to have, let me know. Bigger things like that, bigger, more expensive things, high chair, the crib mattress, things like that. And of course, some small things like a thermometer, the nose Frida is something I want. My breast pump is not that expensive. It's like $30. I'm getting a hand pump. Things like that. But most people like to get clothes or diapers for the baby shower, and I don't want people to buy me clothes because they're going to buy way too many, and they're going to buy very gendered clothes. And I'm sorry, but I don't want my little girl, if it's a girl, I definitely don't want her in different shades of pink every day. I will seriously vomit. And if it's a little boy, I mean, it's easier if it's a little boy, but people will just buy me way too many clothes, and I don't want that many. Babies don't need that many clothes. Usually they can't even get through the clothes that they are bought before they grow out of it, and I don't want that. I don't want extra clutter. So I will probably have on the invitation, please do not buy clothes, and please stay on the registry. So that being said, I know a lot of people are not going to want to buy my $300 car seat or the $50 bouncer or whatnot. I know people aren't going to want to necessarily do that. So what should I ask for from the run-of-the-mill person who just wants to spend $20 on and to help us out? How do you guys feel about asking for gift cards for the baby shower? So me saying, if you don't want to buy anything on the registry, a Target gift card or an H-E-B gift card. I don't know if H-E-B has gift cards, but you know what I mean. Gift cards for different places, or a Visa gift card, or money. How do you guys feel about asking for that from people who don't want to buy one of my expensive registry items? So that's what I wanted to ask you guys for advice on this week. And last but not least, let's talk about my ER trip. So today is Tuesday. Last Thursday or Friday, I don't really remember. I went to pee on the toilet, and when I got up, I always look in the toilet, because you should always look in the toilet. You should see what color your pee is or what your poop looks like. You really should. It tells you a lot of stuff about your health. So yeah, I always look in the toilet, and in the toilet there was a small piece of red tissue looking stuff. It wasn't like the clumps that you lose during your period. It wasn't like the clots. It was like a piece of bodily tissue. It looked like something that came from the inside of me. So that scared me. There was no spotting per se when I wiped, but the tissue definitely was blood tinged, and it was kind of red and pinkish, like bodily tissue looks. So I knew it wasn't the baby. I knew for a fact it wasn't the baby, because the baby at that point would look kind of gray, and it wasn't gray. So I was like, okay, it's not me passing the baby, and I wasn't bleeding either. I would be bleeding if I had passed the baby. So and I hadn't had any cramping at that point. So I just I told my midwife what happened, and I just kind of laid down for the rest of the day. I just kind of chilled in the bed for the rest of the day. But throughout the rest of that day, I was having, well, actually, before I laid down, I went to the grocery store. My husband is a trucker, and he wasn't home that day. So I went to the grocery store. I stocked up on more progesterone cream. I'm still taking my progesterone cream, by the way. I got some more of that, and I got some peanut butter and jelly and bread to make myself peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, so that I have something quick and easy to eat while I'm on my bed rest that I put myself on. So yeah, so while I was walking in the store, I was kind of freaking out. I was kind of stressed out. So I was just kind of walking and getting stuff. And while I was doing that, I had some very, very scary cervical cramps. And it might have been because I was just stressing out and power walking around the store, or it might have been something else. I don't know, but it was really scary, and I was just praying. And so I got home, and I got in the bed, and I just kind of relaxed the rest of the day. But the cramping kept happening. It went from cervical to uterine, cervical, uterine, kind of went back and forth. And had that happened without me losing that piece of tissue, I might not have been worried about it. But it happened after I lost that tissue. So the next day, when the cramping was still kind of consistent, my husband had come home, and I said, let's go to the emergency room. Because if nothing, me stressing so much about it is not healthy for pregnancy. I do not want to stress. Stress is something I do not want in this pregnancy. So I was like, well, if it's absolutely nothing, at least I won't be stressed anymore. So we go to the emergency room and spend 10 hours there. 10 hours, you guys. It was so long. They told me I couldn't eat because of if it's an ectopic pregnancy, they have to do surgery, and they don't want you to have food in your stomach when you're in surgery. So I was starving. Everything took forever. They did blood work, and they did not check my progesterone. I asked them to check my progesterone, and they did not. But anyway, they did blood work. They did an ultrasound. I saw the baby. The baby was doing fine, measuring just a little bit earlier than I thought. But babies are different sizes. It wasn't enough to where they're like, oh, the baby isn't growing. It was just, oh, you're a few days less pregnant than you thought. Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Due dates are really a joke, you guys. But anyway, so I saw the baby. The heart rate was 174, which, if you know the old wives' tales, that means that it's a girl, according to the heart rate old wives' tale. But that there's no scientific evidence for that. But it's fun to think about those things. And the baby was moving, which is amazing. So the baby is thriving for sure. Moving, and the heart rate is strong. And by the end of it, they were just like, well, we're just going to call it a threatened miscarriage. I'm like, okay, well, threatened miscarriage basically means you had some signs of miscarriage, but you didn't miscarry. So but I asked for my lab work and my notes, because I like to know what's going on with me. So I wanted to actually see what they were looking at. So I got, the doctor got it for me. Even though you're not supposed to get it, you're supposed to have to call the records office, and they are supposed to mail you your medical records, which is BS, if I do say so myself, but whatever. But he got it for me, because doctors can break rules and not get in trouble. So I looked at that when I got home, and what they put on the notes is that I had signs of a subchorionic hematoma or a uterine fibroid. And they did not tell me that. And I know what a subchorionic hematoma is. It's basically harmless. It's just a little bit of blood between the gestational sac and the uterus, and it'll just come out on its own, and it's usually no problem if it's not too big. So I'm glad I know that, because that would have freaked me out if I didn't. But like, why wouldn't you tell me that? Like, I asked questions. I wanted to know. He could tell that I was knowledgeable. And not to discredit the doctor, because actually he was really nice about me having a midwife, which I was not expecting. But I really wish they wouldn't spoon feed you the information that they want you to have. I wish they would just lay everything on the table and let you know what's going on. I'm one of those people who likes to take control of my own health, and it really wasn't a good experience at the ER. I mean, there are other things that happened that made me feel very out of control and very left out of the loop. And I don't like that. I don't like that about our health system out here in the West at all. But whatever, I digress, because I'll go on forever about that, and this video is getting very long. So yeah, that's what happened at the ER in a nutshell. A lot more happened, and I was kind of upset at how I was treated. But whatever. Let's go on to the belly shot so that this video is not 30 minutes long. Alright, you guys, here's my belly. I stopped wearing the panel because I'm not bloated anymore. It helped a lot when I was bloated because it kind of held everything nice and tight and inward. And but I'm not bloated anymore, so I don't wear it anymore. So here's what I look like. I don't think it's any different, and I don't think it will be any different for a long time. But I'll keep doing belly shots so that you guys can see how I change. There you go. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm just going to end it like this. What is on my face? That is dry skin on my face. I have eczema, you guys. Excuse that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me always. And how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Bye-bye.